Hey everybody, and welcome to Mortisect. Today we are diving into the dark and twisted world of public domain horror films. So here are the top 10 public domain horror films that you can watch free online. Now, I will be posting in the links section where you can find them. Usually they're on archive.org or even on YouTube, but even if you couldn't find it on either of those, just do a Google search. Most likely you will be able to find a free copy to watch. So our first film is the classic Night of the Living Dead. Now, this film was created by the infamous George A. Romero. He is really a pioneer in the zombie film genre. There were zombie films before him, but I would say that most modern zombie films use Night of the Living Dead as a prototype for their type of zombie film. To give a basic premise, there are a group of people that hold themselves up in a farmhouse in Pennsylvania when the dead rise from the earth. It's a real good classic. It's black and white. That might be a turnoff for some people who are used to modern horror films, but I promise you, you still get a lot of gore, a lot of blood, a lot of really cool things. And what's special about this film is that it has an African-American lead actor as the protagonist. And this is specifically important because during this time, that unfortunately was a rarity due to a lot of social circumstances.
If you box yourself in the cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
So this film is groundbreaking for many, many reasons, and it's definitely worth a watch, especially if you're a big fan of zombie films in that genre.
Johnny.
You're still afraid.
Stop it now, I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
So now we will go to number 9 is Nosferatu. So if you like vampires, you've probably heard of Nosferatu. Back when it was made in 1922, it was a bit of a knockoff. So an interesting tidbit about this film is that Bram Stoker's widow sued them for using what she felt was a copy of Dracula, which I believe she did win that suit. Either way, it's a great film. The lead actor in it is Max Schreck, and I believe if you translate it from German to English, it is Max Fright. So perfect name for somebody who is playing Nosferatu. And actually in the film, his name was Count Orlok. And there is a real famous scene of him ascending from the stairs and you see his shadow. So if you're into cinematography, they do a great job. It's worth a watch. So our next film is Carnival of Souls. So this was made in 1962. This is a really important film. It's actually part of the Criterion Collection, which I own a copy. I highly recommend that. You do have to pay for that one. But if you wanted to see it online, I know I was able to get a copy from archive.org. It's a great film. It was an independent horror film, 1962. Director Herc Harvey, who made industrial films, decided one weekend, hey, let me try to raise some money and make a horror film. And he did. And it was actually a flop when it first came out in the 60s, but it actually became a cult classic, in particular because in the 1980s, they would play the film on TV. So they had a lot of midnight showings of Carnival of Souls. If you like atmosphere, and I love atmosphere in horror films because I feel like it's the third character. It really brings you into the mood of the piece. Great cinematography. They actually used a pavilion. I think it was the Saltaire Pavilion as the carnival where these souls are partying and living it up. And I don't think I told you what the story's about. It's worth watching, but it's about a woman named Mary Henry who has an accident. Her car goes off of a bridge. And what happens is that all the people in the car pass. However, she survives.
Come on, let's get down there.
So she thinks. She's in between worlds, so she's constantly looking and seeing these weird ghosts in her space.
don't know what's real anymore. I came to you, Doctor, because you're my last hope. If you don't help me, I'll have to go back there. He's trying to take me back somewhere. Doctor, you've got to tell me what to do.
Eventually, I won't tell the ending, but again, if you're a fan of the macabre, if you're a fan of cinematography, it's worth checking out, guys. Now, if you're a Vincent Price fan, I'm not telling you anything new about this next one that's in public domain. It is House on Haunted Hill, 1959. There's a great poster of Vincent Price with a skeleton. That was the movie poster. A lot of you have probably seen it if you're horror fans, but if not, it's worth checking out. Vincent Price, he stars as an eccentric millionaire who offers strangers, I believe, $10,000. Now, back in 1959, $10,000 is probably like maybe a couple of $100,000 today, but he offers 5 individuals $10,000 to survive a night in a haunted house.
Now, before the party begins, let's go over the details. The caretakers will leave at midnight, locking us in here until they come back in the morning. Once the door is locked, there's no way out. The windows have bars that a jail would be proud of, and the only door to the outside locks like a vault. There's no electricity, no phone, no one within miles, so no way to call for help.
Like a coffin.
So if any of you decide not to stay for the party, you must let me know before midnight. Of course, if you leave, I shan't be able to pay you anything.
I'm interested in your reasons for this, party. Aside from the pleasant company.
Ghosts, Doctor. I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost. And now my wife has given us all the opportunity to find out.
Amusing. Ghosts, etc., being only creations of hysteria, your party should be a success.
Well, Pritchard here promises us genuine ghosts.
7 now. Maybe more before morning.
That's cheerful.
4 men have been murdered in this house. And 3 women.
You planned your party very well, Mr. Loren. 4 of us are men, 3 are women. Well, a ghost for everybody.
Well, Pritchard, why don't you take us on a tour through the house and let's see what happens, huh?
Need I say more? Worth checking out. If you're a Vincent Price fan, you should watch this film. And what's interesting about the film, too, is that William Castle was the director, and he was somebody who was known for his gimmicks. So when they did House on Haunted Hill, during pivotal scenes, he would have a skeleton just fly over the audience to scare them. Probably wouldn't see that in today's movie theaters, but he was an innovator, even if it might seem cheesy now. He did try to do certain things. I think in another film he had smell-o-vision, so he really tried to push the boundaries. It's still being on the creative side. So our next film is the 1925 classic, The Phantom of the Opera. Now, this one has been in public domain for quite a long time. Shouldn't be too difficult finding a copy. However, because it was filmed in 1925, the quality might not be as superior as some of the newer films on this list. And it's a very classic horror tale of a disfigured recluse haunting the Paris Opera House. Now, what's cool about The Phantom of the Opera is that Lon Chaney, not to be confused with his son Lon Chaney Jr., was the, I guess you want to say, antagonist in this role. And what was amazing is that he was known for his special effects, in particular the way he would use makeup in his acting. So what was really cool is that, again, 1925, people really didn't see that many horror films, obviously, and to witness Lon Chaney with his makeup, which he kept secret, to transform himself into the Phantom. Supposedly, people were fainting in a movie theater. So it might not make you faint, but it's certainly worth the watch, especially if you like universal horror and monsters. Thank you for joining us through the first half of our top 10 public domain horror films of 2024. Stay tuned because part 2 is coming out soon. Thanks a lot for coming down the rabbit hole with me, friends. See you next time on Mortisect.